The famous history of the life of King Henry VIII, Act 1. The Prologue. I come no more to make you laugh, things now that bear a weighty and serious brow, sad, high, and working, full of state and woe, such noble scenes as draw the eye to flow, we now present. Those that can pity here may, if they think it well, let fall a tear. The subject will deserve it, such as give their money out of hope they may believe, may here find truth too. Those that come to see only a show or two, and so agree, the play may pass, if they be still and willing. I'll undertake, may see away their shilling richly in 2 short hours. Only they that come to hear a merry bawdy play, a noise of targets, or to see a fellow in a long motley coat guarded with yellow, will be deceived. For gentle hearers know to rank our chosen truth with such a show, as fool in end fight is, beside forfeiting our own brains and the opinion that we bring, to make that only true we now intend, will leave us never an understanding friend. Therefore, for goodness sake, and as you are known, the first and happiest hearers of the town, be sad, as we would make ye. Think ye see the very persons of our noble story, as they were living? Think you see them great, and followed with the general throng and sweat of 1,000 friends? Then in a moment see how soon this mightiness meets misery. And if you can be merry, then I'll say, a man may weep upon his wedding day. Scene 1. Enter the Duke of Norfolk at one door, at the other the Duke of Buckingham and Lord Abergavenny. Buckingham. Good morrow, and well met. How have ye done since last we saw in France? I thank your grace, healthful, and ever since a fresh admirer of what I saw there. An untimely ague stayed me a prisoner in my chamber when those sons of glory, those 2 lights of men, met in the vale of Andren. Twixt Gines and Ard, I was then present, saw them salute on horseback, beheld them when they lighted, how they clung in their embracement as they grew together, which had they, what 4-throned ones could have weighed such a compounded one? All the whole time I was my chamber's prisoner. Then you lost the view of earthly glory. Men might say, till this time pomp was single, but now married to one above itself. Each following day became the next day's master, till the last made former wonders its. Today the French, all clinquant, all in gold like heathen gods, shone down the English, and tomorrow they made Britain India. Every man that stood showed like a mine. Their dwarfish pages were as cherubins all gilt. The madams, too, not used to toil, did almost sweat to bear the pride upon them, that their very labour was to them as a painting. Now this mask was cried incomparable, and the ensuing night made it a fool and a beggar. The two kings, equal in lustre, were now best, now worst, as presents did present them, him in eye, still him in praise, and being present both, 'twas said they saw but one, and no discerner durst wag his tongue in censure. When these sons, for so they phrase 'em, by their heralds challenged the noble spirits to arms, they did perform beyond thought's compass that former fabulous story, being now seen possible enough, got credit that Bevis was believed. Oh, you go far. As I belong to worship and affect in honor honesty, the tract of everything would by a good discourser lose some life, which action's self was tongue too. All was royal, to the disposing of it not rebelled. Order gave each thing view. The office did distinctly his full function. Who did guide, who set the body and the limbs of this great sport together, as you guess? One, certes, that promises no element in such a business. I pray you, who, my lord? All this was ordered by the good discretion of the right reverend Cardinal of York. The devil speed him! No man's pie is freed from his ambitious finger. What had he to do in these fierce vanities? I wonder that such a keech can with his very bulk take up the rays of the beneficial sun and keep it from the earth. Surely, sir, there's in him stuff that puts him to these ends, for being not propped by ancestry, whose grace chalks successors their way, nor called upon for high feats done to the crown, neither allied to eminent assistance, but spider-like out of his self-drawing web, gives us note, the force of his own merit makes his way, a gift that heaven gives for him, which buys a place next to the king. I cannot tell what heaven hath given him. Let some graver eye pierce into that. But I can see his pride peep through each part of him. Whence has he that? If not from hell, the devil is a niggard, or has given all before, and he begins a new hell in himself. Why, the devil, upon this French going out, took he upon him, without the privity of the king, to appoint who should attend on him. He makes up the file of all the gentry, for the most part such, to whom as great a charge as little honour he meant to lay upon, and his own letter, the honourable board of council out, must fetch him in he papers. I do know kinsmen of mine, 3 at the least, that have by this so sickened their estates, that never they shall abound as formerly. Oh, many have broke their backs with laying manners on 'em for this great journey. What did this vanity but minister communication of a most poor issue? Grievingly, I think, the peace between the French and us not values the cost that did conclude it. Every man, after the hideous storm that followed, was a thing inspired, and, not consulting, broke into a general prophecy, that this tempest, dashing the garment of this peace, aboded the sudden breach on it. which is budded out. For France hath flawed the league, and hath attached our merchants' goods at Bordeaux. Is it therefore the ambassador is silenced? Marry, is it? A proper title of a peace, and purchased at a superfluous rate. Why, all this business our reverend cardinal carried. Like it, your grace, the state takes notice of the private difference betwixt you and the cardinal. I advise you, and take it from a heart that wishes towards you honor and plenteous safety, that you read the cardinal's malice and his potency together, to consider further that what his high hatred would effect wants not a minister in his power. You know his nature, that he's revengeful, and I know his sword hath a sharp edge. It's long, and it may be said it reaches far, and where 'twill not extend, thither he darts it. Bosom up my counsel, you'll find it wholesome. Lo, where comes that rock that I advise your shunning? The Duke of Buckingham's surveyor, ha! Where's his examination? Here, so you please. Is he in person ready? Please your grace. Well, we shall then know more, and Buckingham shall lessen this big look. This butcher's cure is venomed-mouthed, and I have not the power to muzzle him. Therefore best not wake him in his slumber. A beggar's book outworths a noble's blood. What are you chaffed? Ask God for temperance. That's the appliance only which your disease requires. I read in's looks matter against me, and his eye reviled me as his abject object. At this instant he bores me with some trick. He's gone to the king. I'll follow and outstare him. Stay, my lord, and let your reason with your choler question what 'tis you go about. To climb steep hills requires slow pace at first. Anger is like a full hot horse, who, being allowed his way, self-mettle tires him. Not a man in England can advise me like you. Be to yourself as you would to your friend. I'll to the king, and from a mouth of honor quite cry down this Ipswich fellow's insolence, or proclaim there's difference in no persons. Be advised, heat not a furnace for your foe so hot that it do singe yourself. We may outrun by violent swiftness that which we run at, and lose by overrunning. Know you not the fire that mounts the liquor till it run over, in seeming to augment it wastes it? Be advised, I say again, there is no English soul more stronger to direct you than yourself. If with the sap of reason you would quench, or but allay the fire of passion. Sir, I am thankful to you, and I'll go along by your prescription. But this top-proud fellow, whom from the flow of gall I name not, but from sincere motions, by intelligence, and proofs as clear as founts in July, when we see each grain of gravel, I do know to be corrupt and treasonous. Say not treasonous. To the king I'll say it, and make my vouches strong. As shore of rock attend this holy fox, or wolf, or both, for he is equal ravenous as he is subtle, and as prone to mischief as able to perform it. His mind and place infecting one another, yea, reciprocally, only to show his pomp as well in France as here at home, suggests the king our master to this last costly treaty, the interview that swallowed so much treasure, and like a glass did break either wrenching. Faith, and so it did. Pray give me favour, sir, this cunning cardinal. The articles o' the combination drew as himself pleased, and they were ratified, as he cried, thus let be, to as much end as give a crutch to the dead. But our Count Cardinal has done this, and 'tis well, for worthy Wolsey, who cannot err, he did it. Now this follows, which, as I take it, is a kind of puppy to the old damn treason. Charles the Emperor, under pretence to see the Queen his aunt, for 'twas indeed his colour, but he came to whisper Wolsey, here makes visitation. His fears were that the interview betwixt England and France might through their amity breed him some prejudice, for from this league peeped harms that menaced him privily, deals with our cardinal, and as I trow, which I do well, for I am sure the emperor paid ere he promised, whereby his suit was granted ere it was asked. But when the way was made and paved with gold, the emperor thus desired that he would please to alter the king's course and break the foresaid peace. Let the king know, as soon as he shall by me, that thus the cardinal does buy and sell his honor as he pleases, and for his own advantage. I am sorry to hear this of him, and could wish he were something mistaken in it. No, not a syllable. I do pronounce him in that very shape. He shall appear in proof. Your office, sergeant, execute it. Sir, my lord, the Duke of Buckingham, and Earl of Hereford, Stafford, and Northampton, I arrest thee of high treason, in the name of our most sovereign king. Lo, you, my lord, the net has fallen upon me. I shall perish under the device and practice. I am sorry to see you taken from liberty to look on the business present. 'Tis his highness's pleasure you shall to the Tower. It will help me nothing to plead mine innocence, for that die is on me, which makes my wittiest part black. The will of heaven be done in this and all things. I obey. O my lord of Burgundy, fare you well. Nay, he must bear you company. The king is pleased you shall to the Tower, till you know how he determines further. As the Duke said, the will of heaven be done, and the king's pleasure by me obeyed. Here is a warrant from the king to attach Lord Montacute and the bodies of the Duke's confessor, John de la Carre, one Gilbert Perk his chancellor. So, these are the limbs o' the plot. No more, I hope. A monk o' the chartreuse. O Nicholas Hopkins, he. My surveyor is false. The over-great cardinal hath showed him gold. My life is spanned already. I am the shadow of poor Buckingham, whose figure even this instant cloud puts on, by darkening my clear sun. My lord, farewell. Scene 2. Cornets enter King Henry, leaning on the cardinal's shoulder. The nobles and Sir Thomas Lovell. The cardinal places himself under the king's feet on his right side, his secretary in attendance. King. My life itself, and the best heart of it, thanks you for this great care. I stood on the level of a full-charged confederacy, and give thanks to you that choked it. Let be called before us that gentleman of Buckingham's. In person I'll hear him his confessions justify, and point by point the treasons of his master he shall again relate. A noise within, crying, "Room for the Queen!" who is ushered by the Duke of Norfolk. Enter the Queen, Catherine, Norfolk, and Suffolk. She kneels. The king riseth from his state, takes her up, kisses, and places her by him. Queen Catherine. Nay, we must longer kneel. I am a suitor. Arise and take place by us. Half your suit never named to us. You have half our power. The other moiety ere you ask is given. Repeat your will and take it. Thank your majesty that you would love yourself, and in that love not unconsidered leave your honor nor the dignity of your office, is the point of my petition. Lady mine, proceed. I am solicited, not by a few, and those of true condition, that your subjects are in great grievance. There have been commissions sent down among 'em, which hath flawed the heart of all their loyalties, wherein, although my good Lord Cardinal, they vent reproaches most bitterly on you as patron of these exactions, yet the king our master, whose honor heaven shield from soil, even he escapes not language unmannerly, yea, such which breaks the sides of loyalty, and almost appears in loud rebellion. Not almost appears, it doth appear, for upon these taxations the clothiers all, not able to maintain, the many to them longing have put off, the spinsters, carders, fullers, weavers, who, unfit for other life, compelled by hunger and lack of other means, in desperate manner, daring the event to the teeth, are all in uproar, and danger serves among them. Taxation? Wherein, and what taxation? My Lord Cardinal, you that are blamed for it alike with us, know you of this taxation? Please you, sir, I know but of a single part in aught pertains to the state, and front but in that file where others tell steps with me. No, my lord, you know no more than others, but you frame things that are known alike, which are not wholesome to those which would not know them, and yet must perforce be their acquittance. These exactions, wherefore my sovereign would have note, they are most pestilent to the hearing, and to bear them, the back is sacrificed to the load. They say they are devised by you, or else you suffer too hard an exclamation. Still exaction, the nature of it? In what kind, let's know, is this exaction? I am too much venturous in tempting of your patience, but am boldened under your promised pardon. The subject's grief comes through commissions, which compels from each the sixth part of his substance to be levied without delay. And the pretense for this is named your wars in France. This makes bold mouths, tongues spit their duties out, and cold hearts freeze allegiance in them. Their curses now live where their prayers did, and it's come to pass. This tractable obedience is a slave to each incensed will. I would your highness would give it quick consideration, for there is no primer baseness. By my life, this is against our pleasure. And for me, I have no further gone in this than by a single voice, and that not past me, but by learned approbation of the judges. If I am traduced by ignorant tongues, which neither know my faculties nor person, yet will be the chronicles of my doing. Let me say, 'tis but the fate of place, and the rough break that virtue must go through. We must not stint our necessary actions in the fear to cope malicious censurers, which ever, as ravenous fishes, do a vessel follow that is new trimmed, but benefit no further than vainly longing. What we oft do best by sick interpreters, once weak ones, is not ours, or not allowed. What worst as oft, hitting a grosser quality, is cried up for our best act. If we shall stand still, in fear our motion will be mocked or carped at, we should take root here where we sit, or state statues only. Things done well, and with a care exempt themselves from fear. Things done without example, in their issue are to be feared. Have you a president of this commission? I believe not any. We must not rend our subjects from our laws, and stick them in our will. 6 part of each, a trembling contribution. Why, we take from every tree lop bark and part of the timber, and though we leave it with a root, thus hacked, the air will drink the sap. To every county where this is questioned, send our letters, with free pardon to each man that has denied the force of this commission. Pray look to it, I put it to your care. A word with you, let there be letters writ to every shire of the king's grace and pardon. The grieved commons hardly conceive of me, let it be noised that through our intercession this revokement and pardon comes. I shall anon advise you further in the proceeding. I am sorry that the Duke of Buckingham is run in your displeasure. It grieves many. The gentleman is learned, and a most rare speaker, to nature none more bound, his training such that he may furnish and instruct great teachers, and never seek for aid out of himself. Yet see, when these so noble benefits shall prove not well disposed, the mind growing once corrupt, they turn to vicious forms, 10 times more ugly than ever they were fair. This man so complete, who was enrolled amongst wonders, and when we, almost with ravished listening, could not find his hour of speech a minute, he, my lady, hath into monstrous habits put the graces that once were his, and is become as black as if besmeared in hell. Sit by us, you shall hear. This was his gentleman in trust. Of him things to strike honor sad. Bid him recount the fore-recited practices, whereof we cannot feel too little, hear too much. Stand forth, and with bold spirit relate what you, most like a careful subject, have collected out of the Duke of Buckingham. Speak freely. First, it was usual with him every day it would infect his speech, that if the king should without issue die, he'll carry it so to make the sceptre his. These very words I've heard him utter to his son-in-law, Lord Abergavenny, to whom by oath he menaced revenge upon the cardinal. Please your highness note this dangerous conception in this point, not friended by his wish to your high person, his will is most malignant, and it stretches beyond you to your friends. My learned Lord Cardinal, deliver all with charity. Speak on, how grounded he is title to the crown upon our fail. To this point hast thou heard him at any time speak out? He was brought to this by a vain prophecy of Nicholas Henton. What was that Henton? Sir, a chartreuse friar, his confessor, who fed him every minute with words of sovereignty. How knowest thou this? Not long before your highness sped to France, the Duke being at the Rose, within the parish, St. Lawrence Pulteney, did of me demand what was the speech among the Londoners concerning the French journey. I replied, men fear the French would prove perfidious to the king's danger. Presently the Duke said 'twas the fear indeed, that he doubted 'twould prove the verity of certain words spoke by a holy monk that oft, says he, hath sent to me, wishing me to permit John de la Carre, my chaplain, a choice hour to hear from him a matter of some moment, whom after under the confession's seal he solemnly had sworn that what he spoke my chaplain to no creature living but to me should utter with demure confidence. This pausingly ensued, neither the king nor heirs tell you the Duke shall prosper. Bid him strive to the love of the commonalty. The Duke shall govern England. If I know you well, you were the Duke's surveyor, and lost your office on the complaint of the tenants. Take good heed you charge not in your spleen a noble person, and spoil your nobler soul. I say take heed, yes, heartily beseech you. Let him on, go forward. On my soul I'll speak but truth. I told my lord the Duke, by the devil's illusions, the monk might be deceived, and that 'twas dangerous for him to ruminate on this so far, until it forged him some design, which being believed, it was much like to do. He answered, tush, it can do me no damage, adding further, that had the king in his last sickness failed, the cardinal's and Sir Thomas Lovell's heads should have gone off. Ha! What so rank? Aha! There's mischief in this man. Canst thou say further? I can, my liege. Proceed. Being at Greenwich, after your highness had reproved the Duke about Sir William Bulmer, I remember of such a time, being my sworn servant, the Duke retained him his. But on, what hence? If, quoth he, I for this had been committed, as to the Tower, I thought I would have played the part my father meant to act upon the usurper Richard, who, being at Salisbury, made suit to come in his presence, which, if granted, as he made semblance of his duty, would have put his knife into him. A giant traitor! Now, madame, may his highness live in freedom, and this man out of prison, God mend all. There's something more would out of thee. What sayest? After the Duke his father with the knife, he stretched him, and with one hand on his dagger, another spread on his breast, mounting his eyes, he did discharge a horrible oath, whose tenor was, Were he evil used, he would outgo his father by as much as a performance does any irresolute purpose. There's his period to sheathe his knife in us. He is attached. Call him to present trial. If he may find mercy in the law, 'tis his. If none, let him not seek it of us. By day and night he's traitor to the height. Scene 3. Enter Lord Chamberlain and Lord Sands. Chamberlain. Is it possible the spells of France should juggle men into such strange mysteries? New customs, though they be never so ridiculous, nay, let them be unmanly, yet are followed. As far as I see, all the good our English have got by the late voyage is but merely a fit or two of the face, but they are shrewd ones, for when they hold 'em, you would swear directly their very noses had been counsellors to Pepin or Clotharius. They keep state so. They have all new legs and lame ones. One would take it that never see 'em pace before the spavin and springhalt reigned among 'em. Death, my lord, their clothes are after such a pagan cut to it, that sure they have worn out Christendom. How now? What news, Sir Thomas Lovell? Faith, my lord, I hear of none but the new proclamation that's clapped upon the court gate. What is it for? The reformation of our travelled gallants, that fill the courts with quarrels, talk, and tailors. I'm glad 'tis there. Now I would pray our monsieurs to think an English courtier may be wise and never see the Louvre. They must either, for so run the conditions, leave those remnants of fool and feather that they got in France, with all their honourable points of ignorance pertaining thereunto, as fights and fireworks, abusing better men than they can be, out of a foreign wisdom, renouncing clean the faith they have in tennis and tall stockings, short blistered breeches, and those types of travel, and understand again like honest men, or pack to their old playfellows. There, I take it, they may come privilegio we away, and the lag end of their lewdness, and be laughed at. 'Tis time to give 'em physic. Their diseases are grown so catching. What a loss our ladies will have of these trim vanities! Mary, there will be woe indeed. Lords, the sly whoresons have got a speeding trick to lay down ladies. A French song and a fiddle has no fellow. The devil fiddle 'em! I am glad they are going, for sure there's no converting of 'em. Now an honest country lord as I am, beaten a long time out of play, may bring his plain song and have an hour of hearing, and by our lady held current music too. Well said, Lord Sands. Your colt's tooth is not cast yet? No, my lord, nor shall not while I have a stump. Sir Thomas, whither were you a-going? To the cardinal's. Your lordship is a guest too. Oh, 'tis true. This night he makes a supper, and a great one. Too many lords and ladies, there will be the beauty of this kingdom, I'll assure you. That churchman bears a bounteous mind indeed, a hand as fruitful as the land that feeds us. His dews fall everywhere. No doubt he's noble. He had a black mouth that said other of him. He may, my lord, he has wherewithal, in him sparing would show a worse sin than ill doctrine. Men of his way should be most liberal. They are set here for examples. True, they are so. But few now give so great ones. My barge stays. Your lordship shall along. Come, good Sir Thomas, we shall be late else, which I would not be, for I was spoke to with Sir Henry Guilford this night to be comptrollers. I am your lordship's. Scene 4. Hot boys. A small table under a state for the cardinal, a longer table for the guests. Then enter Anne Boleyn and divers other ladies and gentlemen as guests at one door. At another door enter Sir Henry Guilford. Ladies, a general welcome from his grace salutes ye all. This night he dedicates to fair content and you. None here, he hopes, in all this noble bevy, has brought with her one care abroad. He would have all as merry as first good company, good wine, good welcome can make good people. Oh, my lord, ye are tardy. The very thought of this fair company clapped wings to me. You are young, Sir Harry Guilford. Sir Thomas Lovell had the cardinal but half my lay thoughts in him. Some of these should find a running banquet ere they rested, I think would better please him. By my life, they are a sweet society of fair ones. Oh, that your lordship were but now confessor to one or two of these. I would I were. They should find easy penance. Faith, how easy! As easy as a down bed would afford it. Sweet ladies, will it please you sit? Sir Harry, place you that side. I'll take the charge of this. His grace is entering. Nay, you must not freeze. 2 women placed together makes cold weather. My Lord Sands, you are one will keep 'em walking. Pray sit between these ladies. By my faith, and thank your lordship, by your leave, sweet ladies, if I chance to talk with a little wild, forgive me. I had it from my father. Was he mad, sir? Oh, very mad, exceeding mad, in love, too. But he would bite none, just as I do now. He would kiss you 20 with a breath. Well said, my lord. So now ye are fairly seated. Ladies, you are not merry. Gentlemen, whose fault is this? The red wine first must rise in their fair cheeks, my lord. Then we shall have 'em talk us to silence. You are a merry gamester, my Lord Sands. Yes, if I make my play, here's to your ladyship, and pledge it, madame, for 'tis to such a thing you cannot show me. I told your grace they would talk anon. Who's that? Look out there, some of ye. What warlike voice, and to what end is this? Nay, ladies, fear not, by all the laws of war ye are privileged. How now, what is it? A noble troop of strangers, for so they seem. They have left their barge and landed, and hither make, as great ambassadors from foreign princes. Good Lord Chamberlain, go, give 'em welcome. You can speak the French tongue, and pray receive him nobly, and conduct him into our presence, where this heaven of beauty shall shine at full upon them. Some attend him. You have now a broken banquet, but we'll mend it. A good digestion to you all, and once more I shower a welcome on ye. Welcome all. Hot boys, enter king and others as maskers, habited like shepherds, ushered by the Lord Chamberlain. They pass directly before the cardinal and gracefully salute him. A noble company, what are their pleasures? Because they speak no English, thus they prayed to tell your grace, that having heard by fame of this so noble and so fair assembly, this night to meet here, they could do no less, out of the great respect they bear to beauty, but leave their flocks, and under your fair conduct crave leave to view these ladies, and entreat an hour of revels with him. Say, Lord Chamberlain, they have done my poor house grace, for which I pay 'em 1,000 thanks, and pray 'em take their pleasures. The fairest hand I ever touched, O beauty, till now I never knew thee. My lord, your grace, pray tell 'em thus much from me. There should be one amongst 'em by his person more worthy this place than myself, to whom, if I but knew him, with my love and duty I would surrender it. I will, my lord. What say they? Such a one they all confess there is indeed, which they would have your grace find out, and he will take it. Let me see, then, by all your good leaves, gentlemen, here I'll make my royal choice. Ye have found him, Cardinal. You hold a fair assembly, you do well, Lord. You are a churchman, or I'll tell you, Cardinal, I should judge now unhappily. I am glad your grace is grown so unpleasant, so pleasant. My Lord Chamberlain, prithee come hither. What fair lady's that? And it please your grace, Sir Thomas Bullen's daughter, the Viscount Rochford, one of her highness's women. By heaven, she is a dainty one, sweetheart. I were unmannerly to take you out and not kiss you. A health, gentlemen. Let it go round. Sir Thomas Lovell, is the banquet ready, I the privy chamber? Yes, my lord. Your grace, I fear, with dancing is a little heated. I fear too much. There's fresher air, my lord, in the next chamber. Lead in your ladies, every one, sweet partner. I must not yet forsake you. Let's be merry. Good my lord cardinal, I have half a dozen healths to drink to these fair ladies, and a measure to lead 'em once again, and then let's dream who's best in favor. Let the music knock it. End of Act 1. Amen. Praise be to God. Jesus Christ.